Hey, Neil McDonnell here from the GovCon Chamber of Commerce. I did a video previously on the Kennedy Space Center's annual report for fiscal year 2019. So it came out at the end of 2019 for us to take a look at in 2020. In there, I showed a lot about how Kennedy Space Center defines their priorities, their mission, the projects they're working on, etc. And you could look in there in that annual report and see a lot about their program offices or the type of work they're doing, their initiatives. But it doesn't have any points of contact in there. And so if you're a small business and you're trying to figure out how do I get in, I wanted to take a minute and just use this video as a way to show you a few examples of tracking down names, numbers, emails, etc. So you can start doing your market research or your market outreach to both the government contacts as well as large primes or even small business primes that are working with Kennedy Space Center. You can replicate this to any other space center or really any other federal agency. But for the moment, it's about Kennedy Space Center, and I'm just showing you real time the information that's there. So what you're seeing here is the Kennedy Space Center homepage. In here, you can dig around and find a lot about Kennedy Space Center. One of my favorite places to go is either doing business with us, where you would hope they would have a list of contacts, or information where it lays out some stuff. So I would encourage you to explore on these. And also you see right here where it has program and initiatives. Those are great places to dig in. But let me take you even farther. What I did is I opened up the link for the Kennedy Space Center organizational chart. I wanted to just see at a high level, how are they organized? What kind of work do they have? They have an information technology office or department, procurement, HR, etc. So this is their organization. And let's just say, for an example, I wanted to find somebody in procurement or human resources. Let's say human resources. Somehow I support training or HR type needs. When I look at this, I can come in and Kennedy provides a list of employees, especially key employees, right? The senior employees. So I'm just sitting on a web page, and if you haven't done this before, you can hold the control key down and hit F, and when you do, it allows you to search for something on this page. So in this case, human resources. You can see I already have it filled out, so I'm just going to hit enter. And here, I'm able to see that this person is the director of the Human Resource Office. It's perfect. I want to get in and talk to them. I might click on their name to see a little bit more about this person and see what her responsibilities are, etc., which is great. Lets me know a little bit, but it doesn't tell me anything about how to reach out to her. So what I'm going to do is take her name now, so Digna, and they have a tool in here in NASA where you can search for any employee in the entire agency. So there's no excuse for not finding people, or at least not trying, right? So Digna, and then her name's, I don't know how to say that, and I feel bad I don't, but I know how to search for it. So I just searched for the Director of Human Resources. I want to sit there and sell human resource services, etc. Well, here I am with her email and her phone number. I'm off to the races on trying to do outreach, to do an introduction call, etc. So you'll notice I just try to identify a name and then come into NASA and go, okay, how do I find them? Two other ways of finding people's information out, and this is more of a directory or browsing type method. This is an old report, but it's the only one I can find for NASA Kennedy Space Center at the moment. This is their small business guide from 2017. As you can see in the URL, it says 2017 up there. But it doesn't matter. A lot of this information goes over years and years. So I'm going to scroll pretty fast. You're not meant to read this as I'm scrolling. But what I do is I find documents like this, and I just come down and I go, okay, there we go. Here's the two lead small business representatives, plus Wendy Miller, who's the third point of contact. There's their phone numbers and names. It's awesome. Here's Wendy and Natalie's email address, but Joyce's email address is not there. And so I might go into the go back to that employee directory and find her personal email address so I can send that introduction email, etc. I always encourage people, by the way, call first, then do an email. So if I keep scrolling, again, I'm going to go pretty fast here. I'm just looking, at the moment, I'm not trying to go over this document. That's a different video. Here, I'm just trying to show you how fast I can find names and numbers. So I'm coming down, and here I have a list of the prime contractor list. And I'm going to come back to that in a second because I also have it over here. But those are the prime contractors. When I did the annual report, I pointed out the top prime contractors at Kennedy. Well, there was a list of names and emails, and I'll come back to that in a second. I'm still scrolling down, These are technical coordinators, these people, and they're awesome. Let me just scroll in here a little bit for you. But their job is kind of liaison between the small business office and the program office with an assist to industry, right? So as their time permits, they can talk to the industry, but they certainly know what's going on in the program offices. And so here you can see which organization. It's by number, not name, so you have to do a little research. But here's their name, number, and email. What else could you want to start reaching out and finding out about Kennedy Space Center and how do you learn more? How do you get in? You really don't want to go in there if you don't have experience, right? If you don't have experience, go knocking on the door of other small so you can get that. But if you've got experience in other agencies or other parts of NASA, then definitely reach out to these people. They can give you guidance on how to get some traction there. As you come in, this list here is just a list of the people at the national level, so I'm skipping them because I want to get to the same thing with this next list. I want to see if there's any more for Kennedy. That's who I'm looking for, is Kennedy at the moment. Here's one that looks like somebody who's right near Kennedy Space Center, Sherry at Patrick Air Force Base. It looks like Kennedy's works with them. Anyway, she might be a good one for you to reach out to. If you think that reaching out to Kennedy's a good idea, maybe also reaching out there. Okay, you saw me scroll really fast. I did that on purpose. You're not meant to read this during the video, right? I'm just trying to show you that if you go find documents like this, and I'm going to the very top title page, and let me just fit this to page. If you find small business marketing guides, there's different names for it in different agencies. Even within NASA Space Centers, they call it something different for each one. It doesn't matter. If you go to the small business portals on each one of these space centers or agencies, you can find documents similar to this, which give you a lot of information. The government works very hard to provide this information, so you don't have to reach out to them to know things. They provide that to you. Okay, so the last one I was saying is finding information. So this is the large primes, and I'm going to kind of scroll around here a little bit, but you see right here when you come in, here's Mike from Abacus, phone number, email. Lockheed Martin, right? Phone number, email of a person who's a prime point of contact out there. And I don't currently know, what their roles are. Here's another one I was talking about on that previous video I did on Kennedy Space Center's annual report. I had mentioned AECOM. Ooh, I'd love to reach out to them for one of my current customers. Well, here's the name, here's the email and phone number for Janice that I can reach out to, or my customer can reach out to, and begin to do an introduction meeting. Anyways, let me pause there. This video, the purpose of it was a quick introduction on how fast you can find a lot of names to start learning about an agency. This is Kennedy Space Center, one of, I think, let's see right here, one of 9 space centers. You can see them here on the right bottom, 9 space centers that they have, or centers that they have. I just looked at one of those, and I found probably close to, let me go back to Kennedy because I like going back to their homepage there. I found close to 50 names that I could reach out to. Names, numbers, and emails. That's what you need to get started on marketing into these places and learning more, learning about who you could possibly work with, which primes might have a spot that's available for you. If you bring a core competency that helps them with the mission, they're going to want to talk with you. Remember, you don't sell products and services, right? You're selling your contribution to a large prime's ability to support NASA's mission, right? It's all about the mission. No matter what federal agency it is, if you know the mission, you're trying to contribute to mission success. And if you got experience, they're going to love to talk with you, at least at the very introduction stage. Almost all of these people I just pointed out will want to talk with you. So hope you found this video helpful. I certainly hope you find contacts that you want to reach out to and pick up that phone tomorrow and start calling people. And I always say this, and I want to say it again and again and again, government contracting, it's not a secret, it's just a process. Part of the process is doing your homework similar to what I just did. I wish you great success and lots of contract awards.